On this Civic, P0848 is pointing at the transmission fluid pressure switch B circuit for the third clutch reading high. In plain language, the computer may not be seeing the third clutch pressure switch signal change the way it expects. The vehicle may have shift complaints, may set the light, or may feel normal if the fault is intermittent. The broad areas to keep in mind are the third clutch pressure switch, the OP3SW signal wire between the switch and the PCM, connector or terminal condition, and possible PCM software or PCM input concerns. We are going to keep the testing in order and prove the signal path before calling the repair. Before clearing anything, capture the stored scan tool data and any onboard snapshot with the HDS. That gives you the conditions the car saw when the code set, and it keeps you from chasing a fault blind after the memory is cleared. Start with the live signal check. Turn the ignition switch to on Roman 2, clear the code with the HDS, then set the vehicle up so the drive wheels can rotate safely. Block the rear wheels and raise the front of the vehicle or use a lift. Make sure it is securely supported. Warm the engine to normal operating temperature when the radiator fan comes on. Disable VSA with the VSA OFF button, run the vehicle in third gear, and watch the third pressure switch in the A/T data list. If the switch shows on in third gear, the signal is acting correctly at that moment, so move to duplicating the failure. If it does not show on, go straight to the circuit and switch checks. Next, try to make the fault happen under the required drive condition. Test drive the vehicle in third gear for at least 2 seconds and monitor the OBD status for P0848 in the HDS DTC menu. If the status shows failed, the fault is duplicated and you continue into the electrical checks. If it shows passed, treat it as an intermittent fault for now and inspect for poor connections or loose terminals between transmission fluid pressure switch B and the PCM. If the status is not completed, run the drive condition again instead of jumping ahead. For the pressure switch check, turn the ignition switch to lock 0, disconnect the transmission fluid pressure switch B1P connector, then turn the ignition switch back to on Roman 2. Measure voltage on the OP3SW circuit between terminal No. 1, the BLK/RED wire and body ground. With that connector disconnected and the ignition on Roman 2, you are looking for about 5V. If about 5V is present, the procedure calls for replacing transmission fluid pressure switch B, then moving to repair verification. If about 5V is not present, continue to the open wire check. Now check the signal wire itself. Turn the ignition switch to lock 0, jump the SCS line with the HDS, and disconnect PCM connector B, the 49P connector. With the pressure switch connector still disconnected and PCM connector B disconnected, check continuity on the OP3SW line between the pressure switch B connector No. 1, BLK/red and PCM connector B No. 9, BLK/red. If there is continuity, the OP3SW wire is OK. At that point, update the PCM if it does not have the latest software, or substitute a known good PCM, then verify the repair. If there is no continuity, repair the open in the OP3SW wire between the pressure switch and the PCM, then verify the repair. Keep verification separate from the testing. Reconnect all connectors, turn the ignition switch to on Roman 2, and clear the code with the HDS. Start the engine and warm it to normal operating temperature when the radiator fan comes on. Test drive in third gear for at least 2 seconds, then drive in fourth gear for at least 2 seconds and monitor the OBD status for P0848. If it shows passed, the P0848 troubleshooting is complete. If a known good PCM was substituted, replace the original PCM. After that, check for any other pending or confirmed codes and diagnose those separately. If the status shows failed, go back to the beginning of this diagnostic path and recheck. If the PCM was updated, substitute a known good PCM and check the OBD status again. If it shows not completed, meet the test condition and check the OBD status again. The key with P0848 is not to guess at the transmission. Prove whether the third clutch pressure switch signal turns on in third gear, then verify the 5-volt feed and the OP3SW wire back to the PCM. Once the repair path is complete, run the OBD status check and make sure the code stays gone. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.